Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have huge news, major announcement. I think a lot of us expected for this to come sometime soon, and well, it is finally here. We have Alliance Quest Season 8 update, and today's video I'm going to be going through the changes, mainly focusing on maps 6 and 7, because I don't really know too much about alien maps, and then we also have new bosses, new mini bosses, and basically a ton of changes. So let's just get right in it. I'm gonna skip all the fluff text and gonna jump straight to the base point. Dr. Doom is going to be replaced as a final boss of Alliance Quest with Apocalypse. I do suspect that, I do think many of us suspected that Apocalypse is going to be new big next baddie. And it kind of makes sense, and I completely agree. Story-wise, kind of like iconic villain level-wise, it also makes sense. And Apocalypse is going to be quite a tricky boss as well to deal with those tricky special attacks. And if you do happen to die against Apocalypse, it gets harder to deal with because then you can't parry anymore, and then he can block break. And it makes a lot of sense for him to be an Alliance Quest boss. I think his ability toolkit, ability set, definitely fits that description. And the entire next Alliance Quest season is going to be focused around mutant champions, and we're not going to have class bonuses and class penalties, but instead of that, it's going to be basically all bonuses for mutant champions and no other classes. Well, mutant champions and X-Men, because there are some X-Men who are not mutants. But the whole idea is that there's going to be rotating global buffs where mutant champions gain some sort of form of advantage. And as I said, I'm not going to focus too much on the boss changes for earlier maps because I generally don't know too much about them. Only things that I can say that Professor X is definitely going to be easier than Dr. Doom, and final boss for the first few maps is going to be Professor X now instead of Apocalypse, which is an easier opponent, I believe. And then some mini bosses have been changed from Diablo to Wolverine or from Namor to Beast, which is fair enough. I don't see either one of them like being hard defenders. Hulkbuster has been rebalanced there, and again map 3 still has Professor X boss, map 4 still has Professor X boss, and mini bosses are going to be Deadpools, all sorts of variations of Deadpools. Then map 5, instead of Dr. Doom boss in map 5, we're going to have Apocalypse. And they're changing variation to Human Torch mini boss to Emma Frost, who's going to have powerful from afar, bulk up, and oscillate. Now, oscillate I always hate to see, but as far as I'm aware and from what I have heard, Human Torch is pretty much the most annoying mini boss. So it's probably a good thing that he's gone because he was a pain for many players. Now how map 6, again, instead of Dr. Doom, you're going to have Apocalypse, and the mini boss that is being changed off is Nova, which as far as I'm concerned is a good thing, because Nova is a very annoying champion to fight against, and instead of Nova, you're going to have Bishop with no hit mercy, soft guard, and power focus, so that does sound a lot better than Nova, I think. And map 7, here's the big thing, here's what we can talk about. We have Dr. Doom boss changed to Apocalypse. Apocalypse is going to have Vigor, Empowered Immunity, Stupefy, and Cutting Wires. Now, I do not really remember what Cutting Wires does, but aside from that, it doesn't sound too bad, depending how stacked that Apocalypse is going to be, because yes, he's not going to be the easiest defender, easiest boss to beat, especially if you're meant to use mutant champions. And here is the hidden catch-22. Everything in next Alliance War season is themed for you to use mutant champions, and mutant champions are going to get buffs. But Apocalypse as a champion in itself is themed to beat mutant champions, and that might be a tricky kind of like conversion there, where you're encouraged to use mutant champions, but with mutant champions you might have a harder time against Apocalypse. So not everybody is going to be kind of like recommended to bring in full-on mutant teams. But all 3 of the mini bosses are getting changed. Sasquatch, Annihilus, and Thing, all of them are gone. And new mini bosses are going to be Sasquatch Rebalance. So basically Sasquatch is staying there, just changing him. And then we're going to have Magneto as mini boss 2. And Magneto is going to have Polka Dot Power, Sadist, Flux Dispersal, Physical Resistance. So don't see anything too bad about this one. The only thing that is kind of annoying is that added physical resistance, because again, Quake is typically the most popular way to deal with Alliance Quest mini bosses. Physical resistance quite obviously reduce the amount of damage Quake takes, so that automatically will mean multiple timeouts or alternate options. Polka Dot power, say this Flux Dispersal. It doesn't sound too bad, to be fair. Obviously, not bring in a metal champion and should be good. Right, mini boss Magneto House of X, and this one I hate fighting more because that level 1 is quite tricky to avoid because he has swapped around special attacks from how they used to be, and his new level 1 animation is what used to be level 2, which still sometimes can catch people off guard. And this one also has Mighty Charge, Heavy Hitter, Power Struggle, True Strike, and Powered Snack. So obviously no Quake there automatically, and I guess that's fair enough. Power Struggle, Power Snack 2 is going to be annoying, and Mighty Charge. So this one actually sounds a bit more painful. And then we have the new buff system explained. As I said before, no classes will get attack bonus and attack penalty anymore, because everything is going to be kind of like focused on beefing up the mutant class. Now keep in mind that you will still have the modifiers, and modifiers haven't been announced to change, so we're still currently looking at exactly the same set of epic modifiers or whatever they're called. But here are going to be the rotating kind of like class buffs that we're going to have to deal with, and not deal with, but they're going to be there to help us effectively and boost our mutants, but not punish any other champions. So, Gene Splicing, Crossfight. If a mutant on your team is affected by Bleed, Poison, Shock, Incinerate, Cold Snap, debuff for 5 seconds total in a fight, they purify all of those type of debuffs and reduce the potency of any future debuffs of that type by 100%. Lasts for the next 3 fights. So this, I believe, effectively will make any mutant champion Suicide Mastery friendly, which I absolutely love. And this is a fantastic amount of health for mutant champions. Don't think it's going to be practical to survive 5 seconds of like a massive bleed from some opponent in the fight. But I think when it comes to bleed and poison and using it in conjunction with Suicide Masteries, that's going to be super helpful. So I'm well excited for that. Now we have Mutagenic Symbiosis. For each mutant brought on your team, each of your mutants gains the following abilities. 1 mutant, your offensive combat power rate is increased by 5% per mutant. It's cool, it's nothing too great, but it's nice. Get your specials quicker. 2 mutants, each time attacker fills a bar of power, generate a passive prowess, increasing the special attack damage by 15% per mutant on your team. This can be stacked 2 times per mutant brought into the quest. Wonderful, so you get prowess. They do not disappear, so basically if you have a single mutant that you're using, you can get 2 prowess. If you have 2 mutants, you get 4 prowess. If you bring in 3 mutants, you get 6 prowess as soon as you basically fill the needed 2 power bars, and you get a lot of extra damage, so that's not bad at all. 3 mutants, special attacks become unblockable with above 4 prowess. Additionally, for each stack of prowess increase, attack rating during special attacks by 10%. Not bad, so very good. If you pick very big boost, if you pick entire mutant team, but again, keep in mind you will have to deal with mini bosses and bosses, and for Apocalypse, might not be the best idea to bring in a mutant champion. Just saying. Okay, so Mutiny. That's the third one now. Crossfight. Entering into a fight with any mutant champion without a mutiny passive grants them 3, which are persistent throughout the quest. Each mutiny passive grants the attacker with a 20% attack bonus, 20% bonus to ability accuracy and a 30% passive prowess. At the end of every fight, regardless of result, remove 1 mutiny passive from the attacker. So this one again is quite nice, neat, and I think quite significant boost to mutant champions, especially considering the 20% bonus ability accuracy, and that can be increased up to 60% for some fights, and obviously then it's going to drop down till 20. But again, it's a decent node that should help some mutants, so no complaints there. I do think it's going to be useful. And then we have Exercise Dominance. All X-Men tagged attackers gain a 100% chance to gain 1 second unblockable passive when launching a special attack. If this champion's special attack breaks the opponent's block, gain a passive fury granting 1500 attack for 10 seconds. Now this, again, notice is different. This is specifically for X-Men. So not all mutants are X-Men, and there are also some X-Men that aren't classed as mutants, like Phoenix, like Magic, like Longshot, and I think somebody else. Right, so this affects X-Men specifically, but overall I don't think the bonus from this is that big. Gaining that passive Fury is nice, definitely, if you manage to block break opponent, but again, it could be tricky to get used to. But, I mean, it's definitely not going to be my favorite, but I think it's going to do well enough, right? And now we have Escalation. I like those word places. Based on the number of X-Men tag champions on your team, X-Men attackers gain the following benefits when the opponent is knocked down. It affects all last 10 seconds per X-Men on your team. Gain a Vigilance passive, gain True Accuracy passive, X-Men tag champions can block unblockable special attacks. So again, definitely will be useful if you're going to go against like some Spider-Verse heroes or something like that, and some miss mechanics. Plus, obviously, we could see some change in the defenders in general, but overall, I think this is one of the, well, initially, it doesn't seem that impressive. And lastly, we're adding a global buff that will exist on map for the duration of the season. K-Mayeke, that's what it is. The most effective AQ champion brought into this quest gets a passive plus 200 Fury for the duration of this quest. And that is Cyclops. Obviously, that's a joke. It's quite funny, to be honest. Like, I do like that. It did get me. Obviously, it's not gonna make me rank up my Cyclops or anything like that. And I still will not bring in Cyclops in Alliance quest unless he gets buffed. But, I don't know. It's kind of funny. I wish it was another champion, but fair enough. Cyclops gets 200% Fury. Why not? Then we have Minion update. To add more variety to Alliance Quest experience, Minions on maps 1 to 5 will now rotate. Basically, Variation 1 Doombots, Variation 2 Ultron drones, Variation 3 Symbiotes. Map 4 update for AI, which is a great thing. And then we have the big thing, which is a Glory Store update. And we're gonna have exclusive Glory Store for Thronebreaker titles. So now, with this, I would say that it is extremely important that by the start of the next season, summoners who can possibly be within the reach of Thronebreaker do actually go for that title. Because now there's T5CC fragments in the Glory Store. And I think I will possibly try to do another video on Glory Store comparison tomorrow, because there are some things, some changes that I really also dislike, like, for instance, not changing health potions. But the base idea is that Glory Store gets a lot more jacked. We're going to be getting like 10,800 tier 12 fragments instead of 7,200 like we do now, and they are cheaper. 6,750 tier 5 basic fragments instead of 4,500 as we do now, and I think they are even made cheaper or relatively the same price, but still we get quite considerably more there. And then we have T5CC, which is like the big thing, which you can buy once every 8 days, and that would be a 5% crystal. It's not huge, but still, considering that you can buy one every week, it's a significant increase, because previously there was nothing, right? So you can buy some T5CC frags there. And Tier 1 Alpha Catalyst, I think, has become quite significantly cheaper, as well as Tier 4 Basic Catalyst. Now, there are some improvements for Uncollected Cavaliers as well, but they are significantly worse. Even if you compare the price of Tier 1 Alpha Catalyst, 100 first one to 160. Tier 4 Basic Catalyst, 200 to 50. So, Glory Store gets improved for Uncollected and Cavaliers, but nowhere near as much as it gets improved for Thronebreakers. And for Thronebreakers, the Glory Store is getting significantly more stacked. So that is pretty much, I think, the final kind of like incentive that needed to be added in the game for me to tell to everyone that now it's the time to push the Thronebreaker. And then we also get ranking updates. Now you can see that the first place in AQ gets 16% of Tier 5 CC a week. And then we're going to see the places 2 to 5 gets 12%. 6 to 10, which is currently where ASR is, gets 10%, and then 11 to 20 gets 8%, and 21 to 30 now gets 4% as well, and some slight increase in the rest of the stuff. I think I'm not kind of like blown away with these changes. They are definitely good. They're going to be super helpful. I think it was about time they are changed though, so I was kind of like well expecting this. And for the most part, that kind of makes sense. Again, I will try to take a closer look for the Glory Store where it is right now and to how it is going to change. So maybe do a comparison video tomorrow. But when it comes to looking at what's changing in AQ, I'm fairly open-minded. I don't think it sounds too bad. I'm willing to give it a go. I don't know whether I necessarily like being pushed so heavily to use only mutant characters. But then again, we have a ton of great mutants now that are genuinely a pleasure to use. So there's that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is everything that's coming to the game now. So Season 8, Alliance Quest, Apocalypse, Final Boss, new mini-bosses, new global nodes, no attack bonuses or penalties anymore. Remember that all this is going to go together with the epic modifiers that still are at the moment set to remain the same. Improved massively Glory Sword for Thronebreakers. Definite final incentive for everyone to try and push the Thronebreaker title. And also updated AQ rank rewards. Let me know what you guys think. I'm still kind of processing all of this information. And as I said, might do a follow-up video tomorrow. But that will do for now. So hit that like button, hit that sub button. And I'm going to catch you guys next time. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the